my friends are here, right? But these guys are mega superstars. I've never spoken to them in my entire career on the radio. Yeah, I've never interviewed you before, and I've never interviewed you before. So it still feels good to be here. A first time, I mean, that's the best you can ever happen. I feel this is the time I need to just kill it and just say, no, I'm done. It's your number one hit music station. Well, how do I start? A TV extraordinaire, super host, and a man who has unlocked a lot of doors. I mean, first of all, you can never dress like him because he's the only one that could put on clothes you cannot fit in. Now, the good thing is, aside that, he has created a different sphere of entertainment. He has built a really good name for himself, and whether you like it or not, he's one of the biggest TV hosts in Africa. Ladies and gentlemen, he actually took it a step further to have one of the biggest TV reality shows. Ladies and gentlemen, I've got the one and only Ebuka is in the building. What's good? How you doing, G?
Now I know what Do2dtun is a great hype man.
You guys have
all my
Okay, they always say put your money where your mouth is. Ladies, man, he can boldly say he's the biggest actor in Nigeria and Africa. Well, the truth is, when you put your money where your mouth is, you have to work hard for it. And he has done that. Ladies and gentlemen, another super actor. Fine boy, like I said, no pimples. Ladies, man. And the good thing is one of the actors, EMVCA, is it collector or collected or collectee?
Correct.
Ladies and gentlemen, Timini is in the building. What's good? How you doing, G?
I'm doing good, man.
I mean, it's good to have you all on the show.
Thanks for having us, man. It's great to be here.
And thank you for the first time, unveiling a reality show for men in Africa. I feel like we've gotten to a point where we have to really express ourselves and speak our minds and have fun as well.
Yeah.
Now, aside that, right, let me talk about individually. It's hard to come together putting a lot of big guns in the same room, right? And I want to start with Timini. You worked a lot of people. Let me talk about acting first. Which of your movies have ever challenged you the most? They're taking you out of your core and you realize, I don't want to do this, but you had to do it. But it really stretched you, but it was one of your best work.
First, I think Breaded Life, actually. But it's so crazy because it didn't really take me out of my core. Yeah. It took me to a place that I had buried in my past, Wow. So that was what was hardest for me. There was a time that we were struggling as a family and all of that, and things were like, I was literally living the reality of Sumi, who's the character that I play. So going back into the slums, going deep into the hearts of Ogba, carrying cement on my head. I mean, I didn't carry cement on my head in real life.
You know me.
But I still struggled, and I could relate to the living conditions and all that. So going back there reminded me of a place that I had buried, Bad Boy T and all the swag and all of that had buried, So that was a bit intense.
So which is your best work ever?
It's hard to say, man. I have viewership across different platforms. There's YouTube, there's everywhere. So Breaded Life, Elevator Baby, the biggest movie out of Africa ever, A Tribe Called Judah, Big Love.
Timini and biggest.
It's what it is. The thing about what I've realized is that in this industry, if you don't talk your shit, people wouldn't give you the accolades.
If they don't post you post yourself.
Yeah. So probably until you're dead. So I need to start reminding people and, just letting them know that, this is what it is. It's not about bragging. It's about, dues that I paid, like you said, rightfully.
Ebuka, longevity is a thing in the business. Relevance is also a thing, Sometimes it's hard to dig in your mind and how you think. How have you been able to stay the longest doing this thing and make it, and it's always refreshed every single time? How have you managed? Because now there's Ebuka of a lot of things, but sometimes I feel like people need to peep through your mind to see how you think because you're a different guy. How have you been able to stay the longest in doing this thing and you refresh it every single time?
I think you just said the word there, refresh, because we are in an industry that's very fickle, right? People love to move on to the newest, shiny person or thing very quickly. And I think I early on realized that, being able to stay relevant needs you to keep reinventing yourself.
Absolutely.
And for the kind of work I do, right, it's also very important for me to be a man of many parts. So I work on TV, but there's many parts to being on TV, right? And I always kept that in mind to say, okay, I could be this serious guy on Robbie Minds who's talking politics, but at the same time, I can still stay relevant on a Big Brother where I'm appealing to Gen Zs or whoever it is. And I was very conscious of that. And I think that's what it's been for me, whether it's with fashion, whether it's with my work, whether it's with interacting with people. I have friends across all ages, from the 21-year-old to the 60-year-old, and they all inspire me. And I think that's very important to just always understand that you can never know it all. My biggest motto in life is never stop learning. You can't know everything.
I agree.
Yeah.
You have to relearn, unlearn, because you cannot know everything. And I asked that question because, sometimes you are doing something like this and you do something different. Now, that brings me to the idea of Ebuka Turns Up Africa. Whose idea was that?
So it was me. I live in the reality world, right? I've done reality TV. It's what made me who I am. I did Big Brother 18 years ago, and it's kind of just shaped who I am. And I love watching reality TV shows. And I always had this idea, on the other hand, of saying, Africa has a lot to showcase, right? We know what we see when we see the continent, but the rest of the world has an idea of what Africa is. Besides maybe the South Africas and the Nigerias and recently Ghana. Everybody just thinks Africa is.
I agree. Yeah.
And I just said, there's an opportunity to showcase this, right? And then secondly, why can't boys do it? Every reality show is based around women. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but it almost feels like you need them to make it successful. And then secondly, I have always been very conscious of the fact, especially with the way the world is changing, about how men interact. People believe that once guys get together, it's only woman they're talking about.
And there's a lot more than that.
Or football, but there's a lot more than that. Or when people go on a boys' trip, they're just going to cheat. That's not what we do. So there's a lot more that happens. But I just wanted to showcase that. And for me, it was very important to also, point out the fact, I think I said it as a premiere, we all have groups of friends from different parts of life, and they might not necessarily be friends with each other, even though they are your friends. And I feel like that dynamic is always interesting. I've been on a few bachelor's trips with my friends where their friends come around, and the dynamics on the trip is very weird. Sometimes you're like, is that guy my guy, even if he's my guy's guy? And I want to just
I get it, but the people that don't want to roll with other people, that.
Yeah, which is what it happens on the show even, where you see people who are like, why is this guy here?
Yeah.
So that, Timini, did you like, I need to be honest.
At the start.
Did you like the guys? So who picked the guys?
I did.
You did. Did you like Ebuka's pick? So let me just let me flip this around. If I gave you that chance to pick the guys on the show, or pick your guys on the show, who would you? First of all, I know Mac Penny's going to go with you.
He was with us, Loki.
So who are the guys you're going to pick aside the guys that are on the show with you?
So that question is weird because my friends are not like even entertainers at all.
Okay.
And if I picked for the show, I would not have picked an interesting show because I would have literally picked my guys that were all the same. That's one of the reasons why I give Ebuka a lot of credit. Yeah. The selection for this show was grandmaster level, in
Trust
terms
me.
of person, and that, like he said, he's been doing reality for years, so he probably understands character traits and all of that because this guy saw the future. Me, Zubby, Alistair, Jimmy, Onoja, that mix was a crazy mix. Did I like them initially? I thought it would be interesting. I wouldn't say I would use the word like, but I thought it would be interesting. Would I be excited to go on a trip with them? I probably wouldn't have been interested.
If I go on a trip with Zubby, I probably want to beat him up because I feel like he's just a guy who is away from reality, but he doesn't care. And I think, like I said, I think Ebuka's in the best position to think and explain why he picked these guys. You know why? Because the first thing that came to my mind, okay, so what's Zubby doing on the show?
Yeah.
Okay, so how is Onoja really, and the truth is, I think it's something, if you watch a lot of TV, because I watch a lot of TV reality shows too. If you watch shows like Love Island, watch shows like, this one I watched recently, is it that everybody's going crazy for?
Love is Blind?
Love is Blind. Yeah. Bro, you're going to see characters in those things. So I can understand why Ebuka picked those guys. Hey, well, like I said, I best of both worlds. Top TV host, baddest, biggest actor in Nigeria.
Why you laugh? I don't know.
Timini, wait, hold on. No, I know they doubt them.
No doubt.
When I started this conversation, I said, put your money where your mouth is. You don't try.
100.
Now, and I like the fact that you said, you have to speak your truth, how you feel it and how you know it. So why do you think you're a bigger actor than Zubby? Sorry.
Let me lean back.
Timmy, why do you
know how
think?
to do? That's all you know how to do.
Why do you think you're a bigger actor than Zubby?
So the thing about it is that if you watch the show, right, what you first realize is that I wasn't talking about Zubby.
Okay.
I speak my shit every time, everywhere I go. I consider myself the biggest actor. It wasn't about Dan Zubby. It was about bigger than everybody else.
Bagba.
Do you understand?
Baddest.
So Zubby took it personal, which is obvious because he's also an actor that thinks that he's big. At the end of the day, what really matters is that we're all feeding our families. But if we now decide to break it down,
Yeah.
you know,
Statistically
speaking, in terms of the quality of movies that we shoot, the range of movies that we shoot, the number of movies that we've shot, the box office records, popularity amongst people that
Ebuka, I see that. Oh, by the way, car coming for you.
I didn't finish.
You don't start
I didn't finish talking. Popularity
Okay.
amongst popularity. You know, amongst people, industry experts and like people that like are actually moving the industry forward, and years of relevance, years of consistency, and all of those things. If we put them together, there is no way that Zubby will score higher than me.
Whoa.
100%.
Wow.
He might score higher than me in terms of like.
We need to get Zubby to call him. But I said the show never finished.
You know what? Maybe we could call Zubby on the show.
Oh, God.
I'm gonna probably get his phone number and I'll call him up.
You know,
that can happen. But the thing, like I said,
but you know what? I'm just gonna say. Obviously, it's banter for the show and it's nice, right? But Zubby is. I'm a very big fan of Zubby. You know, 100%. Like I support his work.
I mean,
on his page, I'm awed by the way that he.
he's a
carries
different,
his
special
fans.
guy.
Yeah.
And as an actor, I mean, that guy shoots movies 3 hours, 4 hours stretch. Parts 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Yes.
So you know it's not.
And another thing is that what I'm fighting for is actors on the map in general. There's not a lot of us that are actually living like celebrities and living like superstars and making this thing look as glamorous as it should be. Because everywhere else in the world is music and acting. You know, because before this whole Zubby Timini thing, when last did you hear actors popping, disturbing social media for a number of days, 5-6 days? That's what I'm trying to just change. I just need people to remember that. You know, and Zubby has that star power. Most definitely, you can't take that away from him. And you know, there's places he will go that you know they'll show.
And I think just to piggyback off of him, I think it's very important people also understand it was banter, right? Yeah. Maybe people might have gotten a little touchy.
But you know we're going to take that thing seriously.
Oh yes, but I'm just saying, which is also part of what the show is about, right? You saw them literally, if the next scene at the basketball game, chilling with each other and laughing. It's not that deep. Right?
If you went to
people might think it's that deep, or people might want to make it that deep.
I don't know how it was a uni for you, but if you went to Unilag with me, when I'm with my boys, that's the deadliest times of whining. You understand? Like that's what a boys trip is about. We don't stay and say, "Oh my God, you look pretty." Oh my God, you know your hair.
That's to enter each other.
They enter each other steady. Sometimes your guys go enter you. You go sleep. They think say, "Chai." You know, you wait for the next opportunity, and that's what the show is about. And we try to keep it as authentic as possible. A lot of people think it was scripted.
Yeah.
I don't know where that thing is coming from.
No, I think it's the scene where me and Onoja were talking and Jimmy and people don't. These things, there's ways you set it up. There was no script on that.
Nothing.
Literally, that and Bigger Than You, whatever conversation was the first thing we filmed when the camera came on.
You know, before we come to the conversation of characters and how you chose them, right? You know the thing about TV reality shows, sometimes you're not ready to let a lot of things out. Would you say this is the most open you've been, Ebuka, about yourself? Because I know naturally personal lives, people. I think you don't joke with that, right?
Yeah.
You know this was a lot of things will come out.
Of course.
Were you ready for that?
To an extent. I mean, I've like I said, I've hosted reality shows, so I know what it means to just put yourself out there. And sometimes even the things you don't put out become a thing because people just try to spin things and narratives and all of that. So to an extent, yes. I mean, Timini kept saying on the show, we need to break this guy down.
I was trying.
He kept saying, Ebuka, we need to break you down. Watch out for the next episodes, by the way.
I cannot wait to see that, because the What Party 2, I mean, you were very vulnerable. And sometimes when you play this kind of characters, you know, Ebuka is hard to figure out. So I'm saying, are you ready to pour that out? That's a lot of things people don't know about you.
I mean, I think I did a bit of that in the second episode when I was talking about my wife and my mother-in-law that passed away. I don't think people had ever known that about me and how much, you know, grief affects people, and it's a burden I still carry. But besides that, even like I said, watch out for the next.
We cannot wait. We cannot wait for that.
Yeah.
Now, Ebuka, Timini said this is a grandmaster plan, or you did a good job picking those guys. Some will agree, some will not. Why did you pick this guys? Because I know the first thing people come on, man, why did you not pick this guy?
Yeah.
Why did you not pick this guy? You know, tell us why. First, why did you pick Timini?
It's obvious, right? So for me, like he said, if you went on a trip, right, with your core guys, you guys would just probably hang out, drink, and go home. Like I said earlier, the first thing on my head was get my friends from different parts of my life, right?
Okay.
Industry friends, childhood friends, uni friends, family friends, whatever it is. People who may not necessarily be friends with each other, but are my friends. That already brings a dynamic into it. And of course, there's the character, the personalities I was trying to look out for. You know, you need someone who's very calm, who watches things.
Who's the calm one?
Maybe Onoja to an extent, and maybe me to an extent as well. Then you need the guy who's very carefree, which is probably an Alistair. You know, then you need the guy who's quite emotional and, you know, he's not afraid to speak his mind, who's probably a Jimmy. Then you have the egos. He keeps saying he doesn't, you know. And the funny thing for me is Zubby and Timini are almost at par on that level, but they express it in different ways, right? Timini is a guy who's just going to, you know, yab you, and 5 minutes later, he's like, just a joke. But it has entered your soul.
You're going to take what he says seriously.
Yeah. Zubby, on the other hand, is just in his carriage and he's waiting for you to come for him, for he to give it back to you. So you needed all those characters, because if you had 6 loud, noisy guys, you're just going to have a rowdy show. Right. So it was very important to bring those personalities that are clashing, that are matching. So if things go too hot, there's someone who probably brings it down. If things are too calm, someone takes it back up. You know, you needed, that was always playing in my mind.
Is it going to be a continuous process? Are you going to bring all your other friends on it? Or is it this will be the guys you'll be with?
You never know. You never know. I mean, I have a large pool of friends, like most of us do. There's people everywhere. You never know what could happen. But I mean, this core worked so well. And I think everybody can attest to that. I mean, I don't think I've seen anybody who says this cast was bad. I've not seen one comment in that line. Everybody believes the cast. They might have opinions about the people on it, but the casting, I think, worked perfectly. And I think it shines through even after the show. This guy and Zubby are still cool. We are still all chilling and all.
You know, the thing is, something funny that happened was when I knew I was going to come on this show. Shout out to Ebuka, first of all. This was the biggest bag that I made last year. Being on this show.
Ebuka, we need to talk.
So, you know, when someone tells you that, right, and you're now there, my team, my PR team, you know, they know I have a bad mouth, you know. So there was this strategy meeting that they had and said, you know, you have to be this guy, this is the thing, you know. So I had a way that I was going to be. And I remember that I'm an actor, so I could act different ways. But we got on the jet on heading to Rwanda, and Ebuka kind of
I like the fact that you said jet.
Yeah.
You didn't say a
Very important.
Okay, you
let them know.
Niggas are ballers.
So we got on the jet, drinking some Ace of Spades, heading to...
Drop that one again. Go ahead. Which one?
The camera wasn't rolling, but Ebuka kind of just told us that, you know what, he needed this thing to work. And for us to make it work, we had to like leave our brands and leave packaging and just be who we are, because that's the only way that the show would work. And I said, you know, okay, it's fine. A lot of people might misunderstand, but I would do him the honor and give him that respect of giving my 100%. So anybody that has watched the show heard that maybe my mouth is a bit runny. They know that that's who I am in real life. I'm not afraid of anybody, and I know how to warm my way back.
So you leave your truth.
Yeah, 100%. And I think that everybody else did. Jimmy from the jump, Zubby from the jump. And you know what was great about it is that Zubby hasn't really watched reality shows. Like he didn't come with an understanding of this is how, right? So a lot of things. He was as raw as possible, you know, and that's why the show is magical, you know. I believe.
On your trips, who was the hardest person to work with? Who stressed you the most, Ebuka?
That's off camera.
Off camera.
I think everybody had their moments, honestly. Every single
Who got you upset? Who got you upset?
Everybody.
You know?
No, everybody. There were times when, but I was also an executive producer on this, so I had to be extremely patient. It was my first time doing it, so I had to learn the work of not being the guy who's rattled or, you know, making.
So if you're not that, who would have really upset you on the show?
Everybody did. Timini had many moments where I was just like,
which one be many moments? I don't understand. Which one be many moments?
Zubby had his own many times. Jimmy.
But you
Alistair waited. Then towards the end,
he was just like,
he now wanted to scatter the whole thing. I said, what's going on here?
Alistair is a friend of ours too. Like, Alistair is like a generator. He almost like, you know, when you put on a generator, the power comes on. It's fine. So Alistair is the guy that started to grum, maybe the phone won't finish. Now then, last in on. So when Una don't end, where everything is good,
he now just remembers that he's here. You know, so honestly,
he gave me a few shockers.
Yeah, you know, it's coming.
Don't worry.
It's coming.
And see, that energy is everything. Even the way he plays football, everything. You know, but he's a nice guy. He's a hard shell, but really, he's soft inside too. But
yeah, I've known him for 12, 15 years.
12, 15, wow.
Yeah, so he's a solid guy. He has his quirks. And he's just a weird guy, you know? And he's one of those guys who you can't necessarily make conform to anything. He's just the way he is, and he doesn't care.
How many years have you known Onoja?
It's almost 30 years. We went to uni together.
Wow.
It's been a very, 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 very long time. Yeah, Onoja is, it's been a while.
Timini, who upset you the most on the show?
Who upset me the most on the show was production. It was
Ask
production.
him why.
It was
Why?
production. Why did they upset me? You know, it was just a thing where, like, obviously, because
The shoots were crazy. The shoot times were crazy.
It was like you have 4 activities in a day.
What type of activities did you have?
What
type of activities?
You saw it on the show now.
It's on the show, but like obviously I'm exploring these new countries. I want to rest, go out at night or do something.
Now he has said the real part.
But they were shooting till 8 p.m. and then they're telling us rest because call out time is 6 a.m. Call time can't be 6 a.m. But when I go carry on. You know,
oh my goodness!
So those were kind of places that we had conflicts. But aside from that, it was actually all calm. You know, it was unlike other reality shows where everybody has like different places that they live. We all stayed in the same villa. So no matter how messy it gets on set, once the camera crew goes out,
we are left alone.
We don't carry Glenn Comot or whiskey or something. We don't shark G's, catch crews, and we ginger. You know, so
but shout out to the production. I mean, you saw the quality of this thing. And
you could see
it was very
even a fly go. You could see
it was very intentional as well to show people that, you know, the fact that it's done here doesn't mean it can't be quality. Everything was on point. Producer Olamide, not Olamide the artist before. Olamide, styling, McPain, you know, haircuts, case plays. All these guys were on the strip. The crew was almost 100 deep people who were traveling. We used to feel up like it was crazy. It was crazy.
That's good.
So shout out to everybody who made this come to work. They stressed us, but it was worth it.
Timini, how the truth is, I've seen that you're almost sometimes quiet about scandals.
Yeah.
Is that your strategy? You don't. I feel like, how do you handle scandals?
How do I handle scandals? To be fair, with scandals, for me, it's like what's really relevant, like what's really important. You know, there's a million people that like you. There's a few people that don't. You know, are you going to focus on the negative or are you going to focus on the positive? I've been consistently, you know, acting and relevant for 13 years or 14 years now. You know, and it has worked for me. I've never really come out to focus on anything negative. I realized you can't be perfect. Like no matter what you do in social, especially because of the social media space and how opinionated it has gotten, you can't be right to everybody.
You cannot.
You know, so I just, you know, look forward and focus on work. That's what I do.
I get it. I mean, I wish I could be like you.
I wish I could be like you.
But I wish I could be like you. You had asked earlier why did I pick Timini. It's one of the reasons why. I mean, we're all in this industry, right? But we see people, we see things. I think I met him about a decade ago, give or take. And he's one of those guys I've watched over time, how he's been very intentional about branding himself. And I'm that way. And I like people who understand where they want to go. From at least 6-7 years ago, I could see where he wanted to be and what he was trying to achieve with how he was branding himself and, you know, positioning himself. Like he said, the lifestyle you see with him, it's very artist-based. You don't see that in Nollywood a lot. But he's like, you know what, I can be this guy even if I'm still delivering in the cinemas and, you know, on your screens. And I like people like that who understand that this is a business, not just the show side of things. And I respect him for that.
You know, there's excitement while you work, you know, especially when you're part of this. You know, Ebuka, your excitement for this is a lot different. Aside the fact that I've seen this type of excitement when you're doing Brick Brother, right? Why are you so excited about this? Is it, you know, when you have to birth an idea and it comes to life, why is this excitement so different for you?
Because it's exactly what you said. When you have something in your mind and then you see it actually come to life,
right?
it's very surreal.
How long have you had this idea?
I started thinking about it, not exactly in this way, but I started thinking about it about 5-6 years ago.
Wow.
And it just kept evolving and morphing into what it eventually became. But I've always thought, why can't we do this? Do it well and have it as engaging as possible.
And I remember when you called me about it. Like, he called me like a year before.
A year before we even started shooting.
This thing is going to happen, and I said it whenever it happens.
And I shout out to all the guys because they all understood it right from the start and said, you know what, this sounds interesting. I mean, you know, and it made me very comfortable that they understood it. Because when you start over explaining your idea, you now start wondering, is this thing even worth it?
I know what's even crazy because I said, what show can I watch to kind of like give me an idea? They're like, there's really no show like this.
Which is a fact.
So do you watch TV reality shows?
Yes, I do.
So which ones do you watch?
Which ones do I watch?
Which ones have you seen?
Real Housewives, the Ratchet ones.
Ratchet.
I like seeing those ones where they are fighting and they are, you know. So I was really thinking, you know, and then Big Brother as well. I'm a huge silent observer.
Why do I feel you got 2 blows on this one? Did punches fly? We gotta watch out for that.
You know, punches.
No, there are no punches. If you're a punch, I go sue Prime.
Oh my goodness! You know, so what shows do you watch?
No, I watch everything on TV. TV is my school. So while I watch a lot of it for entertainment, I also watch TV to learn stuff. So I watch everything. Love is Blind, Young, Famous and African, Big Brother, of course, Real Housewives. I'm not a big Real Housewives person, but I watch the Lagos one.
I watch the Lagos. I'm not big on the realize Atlanta and.
Yeah,
it's stressed my mind. But the one in Nigeria,
I watch all of these things, and you can see how, and you find that in every territory it's different. The Americans like what they like; they go ratchets when they want, and they want them. The ones in the UK are more
set them up for ring, like
the ones in the UK are more love and personality based. So you can understand. So when it comes to your territory, you have to localize it as much as possible, which is what we try to do here as well.
That's good. That's good. Well, I mean, what more can I say? I think you guys, you clearly have a goal. You clearly have gold with you now. And I feel like, we cannot wait to see more of this. Besides that, you guys are doing good.
Would you do it?
I would do it.
You know, this guy is too sensitive.
This will be crazy.
I'll do it.
Too sensitive.
Bring it on. I'm going to do it. I feel like I have a lot of things to put on my chest. First of all, you get one guy will go collect first, not on the show.
Oh, okay.
Outside the show. So put me on it, then I feel like I have a lot more to just.
Why do I feel like I know who this guy is?
Don't worry, you go collect now. But then I go shut down that show last.
I said no comments.
No worry.
I don't know.
No,
they said the guy is not on the show.
He's not on the show. He's not on the show. He's not on the show.
If he's not on the show,
no. Listen, Ebuka already understands what I'm saying. You be bad, and I might even transfer it to all of you
every day.
But it's all good. I love what you guys are doing. I'm proud of you guys. Shout out to Ebuka and shout out to Timini for coming on the show.